some other people right now. I'm very much looking forward to the conversation. I only hope you are as well. Smiling, who's happy? You, sir. Look at him. He gave me the points. He gave me my own points. I invented that move. That was my move, and he invented it. Hold on, he's having a little small chat, little small talk. He's getting a little bit of the glad hand that I know, but I really love. Right there. Sir. Mr. President. Tony Katz, WIBC. Take a quick picture with David Webb from Syria. You got to be a lover in this world. Goodness gracious. It's quite all right. He'll take a picture anywhere. The man is very serious about this thing. You know, I met him as a candidate to Heroes Deli in Indianapolis, and now I've met him as President of the United States. So I picked for the cycle. You know, I didn't know him as just businessman, so I was like 2 out of 3. I wasn't back in 666. I'm still going to the hall, people. It's just like that. Mr. President, welcome to Indianapolis. I'm fine. Tony Katz, WIBC, sir. How are you?
Hi, Tony.
How's everything going?
It's going good. It's going really good. We're trying to get the budget approved, and then we get the tax cut approved. And, you know, we have to get John McCain to vote for it. We have to get a couple of others to vote for it, but hopefully that'll take place. And we're going to have the largest tax cut in the history of our country.
You talk about John McCain. It's literally one of my first questions. It's a question I've asked of your Commerce Secretary and others. The plan, without getting into the real details, the real specifics, works. I'm a big fan of reducing the corporate tax rate. Gary Cohn and Mick Mulvaney of OMB literally have sat down next to the president. I'm being muscled, sir. That's what's happening right here. That plan works, dropping to 3 tax rates. But you have the Bernie Sanders contingent, who will tell you that you're just supporting big business. And then you have people like Senator John McCain, who seem much more interested in frustrating you than they are in moving policy forward. What's the plan for bringing them aboard?
Well, we're going to see what happens. We're not going to have any Democratic support. We may have a few for the tax cuts, but probably not for the budget. We're focused on the budget first. That'll take place very shortly. We think we have the votes for the budget. We have to get the budget before we get the taxes. We hope that John McCain's going to be on board. Rand Paul, I believe, will be on board. He's a guy that I like. I've always liked him.
Can he golf?
He's been there. Yeah, sure. He's nice. But we've been talking. I think he'll be there, and we need every vote. You know, Thad Cochran is in a little bit of a problem health-wise, and unfortunately, he would be a great vote for us, but he may not be there. So that's almost like a no vote. So that's a problem for us. But we're working very hard, and you know, we had a real, win on health care, and then, as you know, John amazingly voted against us. John McCain amazingly voted against.
Did you ever speak to him about that? Did you ever reach out to him and say, Senator, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to comment on it, but I thought it was...
But if you wanted to comment on it.
I thought it was rather incredible that happened. You know, you're talking repeal and replace for years. Don't forget, I've been doing this for 2 years. They've been saying repeal and replace for 7. So I was surprised. But we're going to get health care. Health care is going to happen. When I knocked out the CSRs, we knocked out almost, you look at it, $800 million, $700 million a month. All of a sudden, everyone's talking to me now, and we're going to get health care. We're going to get it probably in a short-term form, and then in a long-term form, maybe the blocks. We do the block grants, but we will have health care.
Talking, of course, to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, you talk about the Democrats on board. Nancy Pelosi, in an interview, I thought that there was a relationship. She referred to your policies as violent and you as dangerous. So my question to you, sir, is you're the one who has to bring... I don't even want to say you have to bring them aboard. Gosh, it would be nice if they would vote for something and make life a little bit easy for all of us. Do you dismiss that as noise, or do you respond to that as well?
She's a politician, and I think we get along fine, but she's a politician. She's on the other side. The Democrats have had a very failed policy, as you know. The truth is they're good at one thing, and that's obstruction. They obstruct anything from getting through. I have nominees that I have half the number that President Obama had approved at this point. They're waiting forever, and they know they're going to get approved, but it takes too much time. We have judicial appointments that are taking forever to get approved. So the Democrats are obstructing government, and that's what they do best. Their policy is terrible. They're not good politicians, but they obstruct. And that's what Nancy is doing. That's why if you mention Nancy's name in a campaign like I did, where, as you know, Karen out in Atlanta, she ended up winning a campaign where the person against her and against the Republicans spent $32 million for Congress. And the whole campaign was about Nancy Pelosi, and we ended up winning.
Karen handled my parents' district down there in Roswell.
Well, Karen's going to do a great job. But she ended up winning by 5 or 6 points. And as you know, 32 million was spent, and it was said to be a lost race. I got involved the last 3 or 4 days, and she won that race. And honestly, you mentioned Nancy Pelosi, and you get a good result from the standpoint of being a Republican. And I hope Nancy continues to keep her position, because I think that's very important. But I do get along with her. I get along with her very well. I get along with Schumer very well. But they're on the other side. But what they are doing is obstructing.
Is it for you, if there's a way to work with them and get a victory, which is a victory for the American people, is that more valuable than working with Republicans, less valuable, inconsequential?
I just want the job to be done. We're the highest taxed nation in the world. We are taxed beyond belief, and we need tax relief. We need tax reductions. This is really tax cuts we're talking about. It's also reform. But more importantly, it's tax cuts. We're the highest taxed nation in the world. We need tax cuts for the middle class. We need them for business. Businesses are leaving our country. Now, I have to say, I've turned that around, where businesses now are starting to come back in, because they know that I'm going to get something very substantial having to do with tax cuts. But businesses now, you see the car companies, what's happening, they're expanding, they're coming into the country. You see Foxconn, that makes the Apple iPhone. You see Apple, you see a lot of other, they're building plants. Businesses are starting to do it, but we need to make it really what I want to have it. We need these massive tax cuts. These will be the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, and it will make us grow like you wouldn't believe. And the big problem is we can't really compete competitively when China's at 15% and we're at 35%. So the 35% is coming all the way down to 20.
I wholeheartedly agree. Before I let you go, really quick, you've done a lot for Indiana in terms of carrier and a bunch of other subjects. Amazon is looking to build a second headquarters. Indianapolis, Central Indiana, is one of the possible locations. You agree Central Indiana is a perfect place for Amazon to build that second headquarters, correct, sir?
Well, I love it. It's a place that I happen to love. Indiana's been very good for me, and Mike Pence has been terrific. He's my friend, and he's been great. So anytime anybody wants to build in Indiana, I'm okay with that.
There it is. You heard it here first, Jeff Bezos. You're building in Indiana. President Trump, an honor, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Love everything, sir. Thank you so much. There goes the President of the United States. Right there, President Donald Trump. That was some pretty interesting stuff. I mean, he was conciliatory. Maybe not the right word. How about polite? How about kind? Towards Nancy Pelosi, and just said, listen, she's a politician doing politician things. Can I just say for the record, and I say it while the man is 3 feet away from me, that's different? That's absolutely different for the President of the United States there. And I would say for the record, that's the first time I have seen him in a while make that politician tack. He didn't go the way of punch her down and beat her down. He said, listen, when I mention her name, of course it's a lot easier to win. It's a lot easier to be victorious, but she's a politician. She's going to do what politicians do. I thought that was very, very interesting. We're going to take